Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Quality Hour from the GTS Network. Today's presentation.
Got a little reverb going there, Joe.
Just a little bit of a reverb there, Colin. I'm going to have somebody in our control booth check next door to make sure that our audience can hear us. So bear with me just one moment. We want to make sure that what you get.
That's what they're getting.
With us, it looks like our connection to GoToMeeting might be bad. We're going to dial back in.
Now there's,
Us 3 minutes to do the dial back in. Sing a couple Christmas carols amongst yourselves. Okay, we think that we're back on the air.
and if someone can send us a little note saying that we sound good,
Our audio tech is going to go up next door just to give us a little sound check there. Looks like that was to our advantage because we've got some new people coming in, so glad everybody had a chance to get in and attached. So let's start all over again. We're going to present to you the concepts behind a legendary relocation experience from the expert in legendary relocation experiences himself, Mr. James Welsh. James, happy holidays to you.
Same to you, Joe. Thanks for that moniker there. Expert?
Expert.
That'll work.
That's right. As always, we welcome your questions. The best way to get those questions answered is to type them in on your keyboard as we go along, and we will make sure that we provide the answers as best that we can or get the information back to you. But first of all, we're going to go to some news topics, and we again have another expert in the room, Ms. Margaret Wilkins, with the little jingle bells going off.
I took those off, otherwise known as Peggy to those of you out there in the listening land. Give you some DOD DP3 updates. Normally Joe's given some of the stats, but I get to jump in on this. Our bookings this month and in November, for that matter, have remained very strong compared to last year, and in fact we expect to close out December with more shipments than we had in September. We're having a very, very good booking month. January 1st is another re-rack date. We go into a new ranking period, and it's actually the longest one of the year. It will take us all the way through to May of 2011, and we think we're going to be in very good shape with some high scores on several TSPs for that month, or for that period, and typically we'll see our bookings start up a week or two into the cycle, so we might have a lull at the beginning, but then we start seeing the activity. There's been a lot of rumblings about when the rate solicitation will be out, and FDDC has advised that they expect to publish that on Friday, December 17th. That's this Friday, and that will be the new 400 NG rates and rules for business that will be moved between May 15th, 2011 and May 14th, 2012. We're going to be filing our discount sometime in the January-February time frame, and among other things, we expect to hear some clarifications from FDDC on when shuttles will be approved, under what circumstances. There'll hopefully be some clarification on some SIT billings issues that have come up related to which rates apply, the rates for the actual destination of the shipment or what the destination shows in Block 18 of the GBL. And that could have some very big ramifications, possibly positive, potentially negative. We're going to wait and see what they tell us. They're going to give us guidance on handling memory foam mattresses, which you all know are becoming more and more commonplace, and there are some special needs related to keeping those flat in the van, etc. And then we've also heard that we're going to get some information about possible further regionalization within the program. What I've heard through the grapevine, and this isn't anything firm yet, is that the Navy is looking to put a few more of their sites into the Air Force Super GIPSOs for the Air Force to actually handle their relocations at the Super GIPSOs that exist right now. SBDC announced this week that they're going to be holding a number of training webinars on DP3 processes, and those webinars are going to be held just about every week from January through March, and they're designed to help folks gear up and be ready for peak season 2011. The schedule and the topics are available on the move.mil website, www.move.mil. And if you can't find them there, give us a call on government traffic, but we're also going to try and get a bulletin out to give everybody the heads up. Most of them are designed for carriers, but there may be issues of interest to the local agent, and especially for those of you who have your own operating authority or you haul traffic for other carriers, you might want to know what's going on in the training. I don't want to get into Trump and Mr. Welsh's legendary service things here, but the name of the game is service. If we're not giving quality, then we aren't going to be in this program, and customer surveys count more than anything. So we want you to remember to work hard to communicate effectively with your customers, and then do what you say you're going to do. Arrive on time, be courteous, and provide that legendary service that the member will be happy to talk about to their friends and neighbors and recommend Stevens.
Thank you, Peg, and I know that you join me in thanking and congratulating our entire organization for helping us build those scores, because as we watch the overall average start to decline, we watch our own scores continue to go up. So here is a case where quality truly will equal quantity. So everybody keep up the great work out there, and we will be not only the hauler of choice for the moving and storage industry, but for the government as well. All right, as always, we like to share some of our positive feedback that we get, and we get letters all the time. And this one we'd like to share with you comes from one of our consumers, Kathy Tetrick. Dear Stevens, we recently hired your company through Cousins Moving and Storage to move us from Florida to South Dakota. The driver that loaded us in Florida and unloaded us in Sioux Falls, South Dakota was Daryl Nickerson, and Daryl's a PVO from Hamilton Moving and Storage in Florissant, Missouri. I wanted to write and tell you what a great job he did. He was very professional the entire time. He was also very personable and considerate of my wishes and my belongings. No matter what problems we encountered, he was always willing to go the extra mile, if he could, to help us resolve them. Too many people only write when they have something to complain about. I just wanted to be sure and let you know that what an excellent representative of your company he is. Best regards, Kathy Tetrick. We want to thank Daryl and the folks from Hamilton and the folks from Cousins, because there's it does take a village to make these things go off well. And I would just draw your attention to the customer saying no matter what problems we encountered, and that, again, what we think might just simply be a hiccup, our consumer is saying that that is a problem, because that means that the expectations that we set didn't match what they received. So thank you again to Daryl for making sure that what the customer expected ended up being what they were provided. We look out for the next 45 days, and things are looking up for us here. Many segments of our business are up for the next 45 days if we look at that in terms of where we were at last year. Overall, the totals, we've got 475 shipments ready to load this year in the next 45 days compared to 407 last year, for a 16% increase. And we're also making a dramatic increase in our hauler of choice campaign. So overall, the outlook is positive as we move forward into the new year. Pricing is always important to everyone, and we like to make sure that we are seeing how what you're seeing in the marketplace compares to our pricing guidelines that we put out. And again, overall, it looks like we're doing quite a good job in terms of meeting the market demands on our pricing. We continue to fall behind, or at least in the regional and a short haul capacity, see that our pricing has to be a little bit more aggressive in the lower weight shipments. But in the shipments that are really the heart of our business, going long distance, our pricing guidelines seem to be right about where they need to be. We'll remind you that in January we will see roughly a 2% increase in the tariff rates based on the indices that we have, and I know that we're working diligently right now to make sure that that data is in your hands prior to going out to do estimates before the first of the year into next year. How did we end up in November? November really turned out to be a rather positive experience for us, and I think this chart shows you that on long distance move, it pretty much was flat year over year. So a slight increase, a few more shipments, with again some issues with the revenue quality, but we are definitely seeing an uptick in long distance shipments on our consumer sales. So that's good news, and while our overall DOD on a long-distance basis is down, again, as we improve our scores, that will come back. So the good news is we're out there diversifying our markets and reaching more consumers, and those are starting to fill out our trucks, so we appreciate that. If we look how November ended on a short haul basis, so those are the moves that are right in your neighborhood, you guys are doing a fantastic job. We got a 20% increase over the same period last year, so congratulations to all of our service providers out there on how you are working those markets. So Stephen's name is getting recognized throughout. December is tracking very nicely, much stronger this December at the same point as we were last December. So again, led by consumer sales, but strong production in total DOD business. Again, this December right now, we've got more DOD business registered to load than we had last December. So finding our way through the DP3 arena is paying off because we are improving those scores. Again, at the short haul, look at there, almost double the amount of business that we did last year. Again, driven a lot by DP3. We're far more competitive in some short haul areas than we've ever been in the past under the old program. But our consumer sales are tracking well, as are many other lines of business. So again, congratulations to you all. That we hope that continues to give you the confidence to go out and sell the Stephens brand. Unfortunately, our TCS scores for for November haven't made their way to the charts yet. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this because it's the same numbers that we displayed last month. But what we continue to see is that, no matter what the stresses of the summertime were, everyone rose to the task, and we were able to maintain a quality score for our national account and our consumer sales that was, right about where we were prior to going into the summertime. So we had a very successful summer in satisfying our customer group, and we look forward to moving those numbers up in the new year. Again, this chart really hasn't changed a lot from last month because we don't have the October numbers from AMSA, but we continue to provide this to you. Bottom line number, Stevens' business is up 11.8% compared to the industry's business up 4.2%. So if anybody tells you that you can't sell the Stevens brand, this is the chart you ought to be telling your fellow agents to take a look at, okay? And we like to make sure that you know how we are servicing you to make sure that you stay financially solvent. And to us, it's important that we process revenue quickly and that we pay you as quickly as we can. We can't process the revenue until we get the paperwork in, and typically for our prime agents, within 7 days of us processing that paperwork, we've got money going out to you. So our numbers are starting to come back into alignment. Last month, I think we had a 45-day window that we were paying our agents on, and then we've gotten that back down to 40 days as we're moving into the season here. Things are going well. You're doing a much better job getting that paperwork into us. So even on a great increase in the number of invoices we're processing, it looks like we're getting the money out to you as quickly as we can. Just want to remind everyone that we are processing payments via ACH if you're interested. I know there'll be something coming out in the agent newsletter that should be out within the next few days, reminding you about how you can take advantage of that ACH process. But I will use this opportunity to tell you that if you are not receiving your monies via ACH and you would like to, please contact Carol Howell in our accounting department, and she would be most happy to set you up. And that ends our news, and now I have the extreme pleasure once again of introducing my good friend, James Welsh. Who,
call me Jim.
Oh, wow.
That'll work.
We are close.
Yeah. Am I on there, Mr. Kurt? We have a new mixer here straight out of Michigan State University. Kurt, welcome to the TCS Quality Hour.
Go Spartans.
Yeah. Joe, think back about 12 months ago, okay, when we started talking about, when we introduced 3 letters, TCS. Yeah. And again, that was a product out of evaluating our quality and our perception and the real scores of our quality in the marketplace. Without a doubt, we have made great strides. And, you know, there's, I guess there's a lot of sayings about a lot of things, but you can think about something, but if you don't talk about it, all you're doing is thinking about it. So, you know, write that down, put it on the board. Yeah. You'll have a number of things you can put on the board, and we're done with today. But, you know, we started not only thinking about performing a quality experience for the customer, we started talking about it. And when you start talking about it, you now generate your interest and you start holding people accountable for it. So there's 2 very important things that took place when we introduced, you know, total customer satisfaction and all of the components of that back last, I believe it was last November. Nothing but positives were created from that. You can see it in our overall quality scores that I know in our last management review meeting where we had our Novembers, we were almost at a 91% for all product lines. And I will tell you, I think it was a year ago, we were an average about 85, something like that. Our corporate quality scores were about a 91. They are now around a 96 to about a 96%. We've made great strides in good, you know, exceptional strides from a military standpoint, and I continue to see many, many great post-move surveys coming in across the line in all product lines. We are on the right track without saying it any better. You know, as we look to see and understand that we're in a quality-driven marketplace, how do you get from being a average team or a good team to being an exceptional routine. And really, it's all about the work culture. It's about not just talking about it, thinking about it, talking about it. It's about doing it and being committed to the aspect of providing a legendary relocation experience. Some powerful words, you know, I mean, we are in a service business. Stevens Van Lines is in a service business. I don't know any other way to explain what we do. We provide a service. We're not creating Christmas cards. We provide a service that touches people's lives. I'm going to just read what I have here for a second, and then as we go across here, you'll have time to think about this. But when we provide a legendary relocation experience for the customer, the end result is total customer satisfaction. And it does indeed make Stevens the way to move. Now, I have a royalty on that coming up, and it's patent pending. But when you read that paragraph, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Eddie Clements for a moment, because here's a professional van operator that works for Stevens who focuses on every family he moves to provide a legendary relocation experience. Ed begins by walking in the door and shaking his hand and telling the customer, Mr. Bissner, this is going to be the best move you ever had in your life. And at any given point in time, there is anything that's not being done to your satisfaction, please bring it directly to my attention, and we will remedy it on the spot. So Eddie was doing about a 28,000-pound pack and load job, and it was a short haul here in Michigan. I get a phone call from the customer. And Eddie was just like in the second day of the pack job, and the customer had nothing but superlatives. And this is someone, he expressed to me, moved 11 times in his life. And he said, I just want to tell you something about you know, our customers don't call our PBOs, they call them drivers, right? Or they call them by their first name. He said, I just want to tell you something about Ed and how Ed introduced himself and what was going on. He said, do you mind if I take pictures and put it on Facebook and put it on LinkedIn and send these to some of my colleagues? I said, no, go right ahead. That is a legendary relocation experience, okay? And it's you know, a legendary action or event leaves an imprint in one's mind, all right? This customer, when he's talking to a relative or anybody and the word moving is mentioned, he's going to have an immediate flashback to Eddie Clements and Stevens Worldwide Van Lines and recommend us. That's the difference from walking in the door and just saying, we're going to do a good job for you, Mr. Bissner, to where this is going to be the best move you ever had in your life. Two distinct different cultures and commitments. One will make you a C+ player. The other one makes you an A+ player. And as we know in the quality-driven marketplace, that's where we need to be. You know, when you look up the word legendary, and there's some interesting words used to describe it: heroic, acclaimed, you know, renowned. You know, they're all powerful words, and I think someone's clicking ahead of me, but okay, I'll deal with that. We'll get reflex. Being legendary produces positive results, right? Stevens Van Lines has been in business 105 years. That in itself is legendary. For a company, a family-owned company, to be in business for 105 years. So, I mean, you know, the relocation experiences our customers have get passed down through generations. And that's what a legend is. A legendary action or experience is passed down through generations. That's the difference from just having an average experience with a company, with a service company. Our ability to consistently provide a legendary relocation experience is a result of having a business culture. And that's what, when we started this whole thing about total customer satisfaction, it was about changing the culture not only here at Stevens Van Lines in Saginaw, Michigan, but at every agent-owned location throughout the country. Because it is your work life. It is not your sometime work life. It is not your part-time work life. It is not your coworkers' work life, but not yours. It is the culture that we began to change with total customer, with the aspect of approaching our daily work with total customer satisfaction. It got us to being good. Well, good just isn't enough. I was fortunate. I went to a luncheon in Saginaw, and the guest speaker was a gentleman that a 30-year career man at Disney World. And he actually started out driving picking up the candy wrappers and so forth and so on. But, you know, he always brags about one of his best jobs and fun jobs was driving that Nemo submarine deal, okay? What was interesting, what he had to say when in talking about the experience, and that's why, you know, you look at that word experience, is that he said if you look behind the scenery and saw Snow White smoking a cigarette, it would ruin your entire impression about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, okay? And he said he had a hard time with that because when Snow White got out in front and was on stage, nobody knew the difference. So that being said and done, it was all about the culture. You couldn't, as an employee at Disney World, and when you, and I don't, you know, I don't. There's quite a few of us that have been there, I'm sure. There's a lot of things that you experience when you go to a place like Disneyland. Number one, you're impressed right away by its cleanliness. You're impressed by how you can put your car in that parking lot with 5,000 other cars, and you can forget where it's at, and but yet you can talk to that person that helped you get in the lot that works with Disneyland, and they will find and pinpoint your car immediately with you out of 5,000 cars. So, you know, it's the experience is what the family receives when they go to Disneyland, and that's what every employee from top to bottom, management, is focused on, the experience, because they want to be legendary. And can you think of more companies that are more legendary than Disney?
No.
Okay, so.
Well, other than maybe Stevens.
Well, we're working there, okay? But it's about the culture, and it's about it's the work culture and the experience that the family receives. You know, he used the word family a lot. And we need to understand and remember at all times that that's what we do here. We are moving families. We're not moving shipments. We're not moving 7-digit registration numbers. When you transcend your business culture to that aspect of it, you now truly start getting focused on providing a legendary relocation experience. You know, we like to look at some things, and Jerry, Jerry brought this up to me about the talk show and teach aspect of it. A legendary relocation experience, it's what we do. It's not a slogan. Okay? It's the business culture. Everyone thinks about it. Everyone drives every day in their work life to providing a legendary relocation experience, because it's that experience that's going to get the referral. And if you talk to any salesperson, I'll tell you that that's what works. Taking responsibility, setting the example, being a leader, being a difference maker within the organization, within each and all of our organizations out there. You know, how many of your employees want to come in and make a difference? They think about it, but it doesn't get engaged for one reason or another. So as managers and ownership, you need to cultivate your business culture about providing a legendary relocation experience that continues to generate customers for us through generations. Teach, train, and retrain every day. Our service providers and staff cannot provide legendary relocation experience without training. And if you think you can, you're wrong. You know, we had a very successful Stevens Packing Boot Camp last year. It's coming again, and it's going to be coming every year, and there'll be more to come on that. But there's a perfect example of how you set the tone in your organizations for not only teaching people the proper way to perform a service physically, but also teaching people how to provide it emotionally. So we're not only going to focus on how to pack a picture mirror, we're going to be talking, and we've got some speakers lined up and different type of things set up in place to start changing the culture, setting that die that of a legendary relocation culture. And obviously, it's up to ownership and management. You know, we are responsible for maintaining that legendary relocation culture. And without doing that, without leading by example, it just will not happen, period. Interesting concept there, survive versus thrive. Survive, I guess, means you continue to exist, right? When others, everyone, you know, you come to work every day, but we got to get this done, we got to get that done. That means really that you believe that your service is just good enough. When you talk about thriving, when other people are panicking with the economy, oh, the market share is shrinking, oh, here we go again, someone's discounting something differently. You know, you need to focus on thriving in every business environment that you exist in. And when you focus on that, you know, you flourish. Companies that strive to thrive and not just survive consistently surpass, and that's the key word, surpass, their competitors' level of service. Because that's what legendary becomes. Legendary means when you surpass your competitors' service capabilities consistently, you become the talk of the industry. We're in a quality-driven marketplace. Quite frankly, 95 is just not going to get it. Mike Schatzer will tell you that in the corporate arena, in the third-party relocation company, if you're not in that 98 percentile, you're not even a player.
Yeah, 95 is a C.
Yeah, right. 95 is a C, believe it? I wish I got 95s in grade school. But I will tell you that's the essence of when we start talking about a quality-driven marketplace. And we are growing our corporate product line. And we're growing it because we're providing a quality service. Our Move Center people are doing a tremendous job associated with that. You know, other examples, the DOD department, there's no more LOIs, right, Peg? I mean, you know, so whether or not an agent receives your business, meaning our customer to service, depends on what we believe their quality capabilities are now. It's not just the fact that their name was on an LOI. So, boy, there's a perfect example of how we are really in a quality-driven marketplace. Third-party relocation companies, I mentioned that already. So when you go back to when we talked about the TCS service team, click. There you go. Thank you. You know, we introduced the TCS, right? Total Customer Satisfaction Quality Hour back in last October, and we talked about the TCS service team. So when you take a look, you know, about who's responsible for providing a legendary relocation experience, it's all of us. It's not all of us part-time. It's not every other one of us. It's all of us. You know, and
I just want to, Jim, I want to interject here because our salespeople and our PVOs and our service providers, they don't get a second chance to get it right. It's got to be right the first time. So when we go through that TCS service chain, each one of us has to approach our careers, not our jobs, these are our careers, the same way. We can't catch it in the audit. We can't figure out we'll catch that one when the next piece of paper comes in. We got to think about we're going to get this right the first time, every time. Because the guy on the street doesn't get a chance to say, well, let me come back and I'll fix that.
Yeah. It's a great point. You know, and over the last 12 months, you know, everyone has seen a lot about TCS, right? And it's interesting when you talk to an employee within Stevens, and I know I've had the opportunity to talk to just about everybody, and those that didn't, I chased them down and talked with them. But when you ask someone, why did it take us twice to get it right? when you ask that question, now you have people thinking about it, and when you stay engaged, you have them now communicating about it, and that's how you correct issues. So, you know, it's how you go from, that's how you improve your total customer satisfaction scores, and it's how really, in a little small way, is what you may not believe, is how you become legendary. Ownership, again, is totally responsible, and management. And we're responsible to install an accountability process in all of our organizations. I know that we have one here, and I know that all of you have been touched one way or another by it, whether it's been we've sent you a good accountability report, and I know, and I will tell you, and we all need to be proud on this, is that the type of responses that you folks are bringing back on the accountability reports are not lip service. And if you ever met me, you know that I'm trying to determine whether you're giving me lip service versus you're actually engaging in the process. But as an organization, that is the primary reason why we've moved our quality scores up, because people just don't give lip service. I see some things about how our agents sit down with our service providers and the discussions, and they're really detailed, and people need to be congratulated with that. You know, the administrative side of it, the receptionist, one of the most important people in the company, is the person cheerful. You know, how do you feel when you call an organization? Thank you for calling ABC. Can I help you? Especially if you're upset, let alone you want to spend your hard-earned dollars with a particular company. So it's all about the training and making sure that every service provider in the organization, because that's what we are, we're all service providers in one way or another, is trained. The HR function, hiring the right people in. Even making sure that at that entry level, basic entry level, that someone specifically understands that this company is in the business of providing a legendary relocation experience. I know that I'll be working with our HR people and also internally here at Stevens in creating the necessary documents for the commitment towards providing a legendary relocation experience, which we will then also push out into the agent family. Accounting, how about being accurate? How about sending an invoice out in a timely manner? How about refunds? One of the biggest complaints that we've had that you know, we spend all this money. Now, there's one where Jim Welch goes off the end of the cliff. We spend all the money and resources to put that vehicle with professional service providers in the house, pay for telemarketers, pay for salespeople, and customers do a $150 refund, and we just, at times, fail with that. And the noise level that comes from that, you swore you killed the cat, okay? But you will not, and we will not, get to a legendary relocation experience and be known for that without fixing those little things. We seem to do very well in the big things, but we need to start working and focusing on the little things that take us from being good to being legendary. Claims, prompt and fair. Do you have empathy? When you're talking with the customer, do you have empathy? Very important. Telemarketing. As a telemarketer, people that are in our call centers, are we thanking the individual on the other end of the phone for the business opportunity? They set the tone. That sets the tone. That telemarketer sets the tone on what type of experience that person is going to have when they, not if, but when they choose Stevens. Marketing, without a doubt, stays focused on presenting the legendary relocation experience. You know, they help us deliver the business culture. So, you know, again, Joe, we talk about the TCS service chain. Mm-hmm. And we talk about the importance that everyone plays in it. We need to graduate from just being good to being legendary.
And I liked the last bullet on that, we all hold ourselves accountable. What if at the end of every day we sent ourselves an accountability report? Okay. How did I perform today? What do I need to do different tomorrow to make sure that I am 100% accountable to the customer, but mostly to myself?
Yeah. You know, to ask the question, did I do as good as I could today? Did I give it my all? Did I apply my craft? Did I care? And do the people around me, do they believe that I cared today? You know, I mean, it's success breeds success, positive breeds positive, negative breeds negatives. I would always promote, and I'm a major advocate, malcontents in any organization will take a good organization and make it terrible. And so you win with the players, you know, as Woody Hayes used to say. Why do you win? Because I got the players. Well, that's what happens with business. You win because you have the people, and the right people that are committed to the proper business culture. Sales consultants, understanding and communicating properly. Customer service teams. Wow, this is it. This is the one. Robin and your group and Vicki and her group and all of our customer service folks, they are responsible for protecting the customer from us. And I know I've said this before a number of times, and it's a tough one for people to grasp at times, but you know, they are truly the keeper of our legendary relocation experience. They are the ones that retrieve that move back when something makes a right-hand turn. Okay? So operational personnel, well, quite frankly, we're the ones that are responsible for producing what we say we're going to do, and we must do it. And
Jim, I hate to interrupt you, but I go back to when we introduced this concept a year ago, and we talked about we're all part of that customer service team, and there are special teams that might not get the same kind of press on the field, but you know, the PVO, the packing crew, the helping crew, the people in the move center, the people in operations, they get a lot of the face time with the customer, but we're all on that customer service team, and everybody has a role, and everybody has to perform at their best. So you may only get 1 minute in the game,
right?
But that 1 minute could change the game.
Well, everyone touches the customer, whether they believe it or not. You touch them directly by being in the home face to face. You touch them verbally by talking with them on the phone. And you're involved with the customer in any other administrative or accounting process.
When you answer the PVO's question,
right,
you've taken his mind away from a distraction so that he can continue to focus on the job at hand.
Yeah, you know, and speaking about our PVOs, Joe, obviously we all know that there's been a major adjustment in revenues. I will tell you that some of the things that I've seen our PVOs go through out there this year in terms of the adjustments that they've made in their personal lives and in their operations have been short of a miracle. You talk about commitment. We have some fantastic individuals out there working for this company. And you know, I've always said they're right there in that top chamber of my heart. And when they come into your location, I would hope that you take a moment to say hello and shake their hand and thank them. I know that Mr. Lovejoy sent a picture of his driver's room, and he's got a pool table in there and big screen TV, and he offers them showers, and he's got little treats for them when our drivers come in. Now there you go. You know, I mean, they're showing great appreciation. And so always keep those folks in mind, and we're working hard to get them home for the holidays and making a lot of adjustments, and we appreciate everyone who's opening up on the weekend right now for us to get guys loaded and get them home to their families. So as we go forth here and we talk about some of the questions we need to ask ourselves, you know, does our company culture promote the legendary relocation experience? And I would challenge everyone today to be asking themselves that question. Do my results of my work-related responsibility, are they impressive to the customer? Because if they're impressive to the customer, that's where the legendary part of the relocation experience comes in. Just like Eddie Clements. Without a doubt, he impressed the customer from the first words out of his mouth when he arrived at the home. Do we hire administrative employees and service providers who are committed to the legendary relocation experience? Very important. It needs to be discussed within the interview process. It needs to be in writing. You know, have we trained our employees properly and retrained our employees properly? We provide the proper tools. What does our equipment look like? Does it look like the brochure? Does it look like the website?
And we invited our employees to tell us there might be a better way.
Yeah. You know, just because we've done something for 105 years, one way, doesn't mean we need to do it for the next 105 years. And, you know, I always call it about, you know, peeling down the whole idea, you know, taking the cover off it and reinventing things that are just average, you know, and looking at what's good and how can it be great and how we can take all of that and just improve everything overall. You know, this whole working to thrive versus just to survive, you know, that's an interesting concept. Very interesting concept, because that's a concept of initiative. It's a concept of being assertive. You know, it's caring. When you're working to thrive, you are focused in, you are zeroed in, and you are committed to the process. And you know, having a legendary relocation culture. So we move families, not shipments, right, Jan? And I know I've had a number of discussions with people before about that. You know, to the point where they bring me a file and I say, is it a file or is it a family? It began with F, didn't it? You know? But when you take that approach, it's interesting how your outlook and your thought process changes in terms of what you're working on. So what you see in that last box there is very important, and we're going to be sending more information out, and just like we did TCS aspect, total customer satisfaction, we are going to a whole different level, folks, an entire different level of our service. And we're going to be in that stratosphere of legendary. And we will get there. And as Fred told me, he says, Jim, you'll be dragging people, kicking and screaming at times, but you'll get there. And, you know, he was 100% right. But we've made
the screams strides. Are dying down a little bit, and the kicks aren't quite as hard.
They're not quite as hard. You know, but our commitment to providing a legendary relocation experience for all our customers will ensure total customer satisfaction, which will make Stevens the way to move. And since we're not in this business to move everybody once, there's a lot said in that paragraph. So just as in our first show, everyone was probably scratching their head and said, well, where'd that guy come from, talking about total customer satisfaction, and, well, you know, how long will he be around, and, you know, and all that other good stuff. Well, here he is again. He's introducing the whole thing now about legendary relocation experience. So you're going to hear that, and we will never stop talking about total customer satisfaction because that's how we get there, by providing that legendary relocation experience. It's a must. It has to be our business culture. So with that, I don't know if anyone has any questions, but I would encourage you to review this, and this the things that we talked about here. It will be on, is it SBL Info?
Yes,
right,
sir.
Where we have all of our TCS quality hours. I would encourage you to practice plagiarism. You can take our slides and you can meet with your employees, and I will tell you that I'm available for conference call and be a part of that meeting if need be. So because that's how we get better. Yep. And that's how we become legendary.
And Jim, I would be remiss if I didn't send a shout out to the folks at Anchor Moving Systems and the folks at Midwest Moving and Storage. I had the pleasure and the opportunity to visit with both of those companies, and both companies are very committed to the legendary relocation experience. So I want to thank them for their hospitality while we were there, and continue to many years of doing business with them, and I know that there are many more agents out there just like that. Remember, folks, we're a family business, you're a family business. Your name is your business, and your business is your name. So you are what you do, and you do what you are. So when you treat people right and engage your employees into that customer experience, it will become that legendary relocation experience for all of our customers. Okay. with that, but we're not seeing any questions come through. I know that was a lot to digest.
What was interesting, excuse me, is the first time we did the TCS Quality Hour when we introduced the whole TCS service train, we did not have one question at that show, because I know people had to be sitting back and digesting about where we were coming from with that. And I am sure that this is the exact same aspect of it here. Is that, wow, you know, another 10 wind sprints.
Yeah.
You know, the first 20 weren't good enough. I have to run another 10 more. Well, that's true, because that's what it's going to take for us to thrive and not just survive. So, you know, you mentioned Midwest and Anchor. It's exciting to see the type of high-quality moving and storage companies that are interested in the Stevens brand. And I think that, you know, there are some great things to come here in the very near future with some very quality agents added to our system, which is going to enhance all of the opportunities.
That's right. Okay. Looking forward, I know it's hard to imagine that there will be anything beyond a December, but January 19th, we ask you to mark your calendars when we will once again bring you another exciting TCS hour. As always, we invite topics, so if there's something that you feel that we should cover, no matter whether that comes from service providing or administration, you tell us what topics you'd like to see us cover, and we'll be happy to do that. Please mark your calendars for January the 19th. With that, we wish you happy and safe holidays. Jim, Merry Christmas to you.
Joe, same to you and your family.
Appreciate it. Everyone, we thank you for listening, and we will see you next year.